Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. I hope you're doing well today. It is the 11th of May, and I hope you are doing what you have to do to not contract the coronavirus, whether that's staying at home, self-isolating, wearing a mask, or singing the ABCs as you wash your hands every time, because you're washing your hands longer than you normally would, right? Now, just so you know, personal observation, there are two very distinct people out there. Those who end the ABC song with, "Won't you come out and play with me?" Or the other groups say, "Won't you sing them again with me?" So just depends on where you find yourself, I guess, right? Now, I, of course, been inviting people to ask me questions, and the best way to do that is to just post your question as a comment, and I'll do my best to answer it. And then if you would rather email me, you can email me directly at searchforsigns@mail.com, and I can try to answer it that way. All right, getting right into the questions. All right, what do you think about Barack Obama being Maitreya? Yes, that's it exactly. I got the last little bit of that. That's funny that she said that. No, Barack Obama is not Maitreya. Maitreya is the head and leader of the Masters of Wisdom, or the spiritual hierarchy on this planet. He embodies the Christ principle, just as the Buddha embodies the wisdom aspect of God. Barack Obama, of course, is the former U.S. president. They're not the same individual. But, ironically, people on the internet have claimed that Barack Obama and Maitreya are both the Antichrist, so go figure. All right, the next question from Tao Zhen Shi. You seen him in person? Yes, I have. Now, he's looked differently every time I've seen him. Now, Maitreya, I didn't really explain this clearly before when I was doing the interview on Leak Project, but Maitreya looks how he looks in England, or when he's on TV is how he looks. He doesn't look like the photo of him at the very top left of this video. That's how he looked when he appeared out of the blue to a religious group in Nairobi, Kenya in June of 1988. You can also find the video on that. There's actually a lot of news reels about that whole experience. But he, from 1988 to right before the invasion of Iraq in 2003, Maitreya appeared nearly every week all around the world to different religious groups, of all different types of faiths. And he would appear out of the blue, just like he did in Nairobi, Kenya. He would speak in their language for however long he spoke, and then he would disappear the same way that he appeared. Some people were very inspired by the fact that he appeared to their church group. Others were very afraid because they thought he might be the Antichrist appearing out of the blue. And in other instances, it was mixed. Now, every single time, or nearly every time that he did that, wherever it was, at some point, he charged a well of water that will eventually be discovered as a healing well. Now, there's already 3 wells that have been discovered. One is in Tlacote, Mexico, which is just north of Mexico City. One is in Nordno, Germany, and then the other one is in India. And if you ever want to, I have the link of it in the description. There's an Ainsworths Pharmacy where you can actually purchase the healing water tablets. I'm not a salesperson for Ainsworth. I'll just come out and say that. I don't make any money off of this. They don't even know that I'm even promoting the healing water. But I take Tlacote water and use the cream on my skin all the time, and I've noticed some benefits from it. So anyway, but eventually there will be close to 800 of these healing wells all over the world. Now, the times, these masters, like Maitreya, the times that they visit somebody, they use what's called a familiar. They can create what would us look like just a person. They can create it through thought, and a bit of their consciousness can speak directly to that person back and forth, give them a teaching, give them a healing, help them in an accident, that kind of stuff. But they can look totally different every time. I've seen Maitreya. He looks like a African-American male. I've seen him as a child when I was in elementary school, an African-American elderly lady a couple times, an elderly man, a Caucasian man. So they can appear however they want to appear to that person. Now, when we see Maitreya and recognize him on TV, that's how he's going to look for the next 3,000 years. So, but he does not look anything like that photo, and that's the reason why people are not understanding why they're not seeing interviews with him on TV. So if he looked just like that, wearing that kind of garb, it'd be very easy to recognize him, but he obviously does not look anything like that. But they wear these masters when they appear, like when Maitreya is on TV, he'd, more than likely be wearing modern clothes with a suit and tie, that kind of thing. It just depends on what they're at. Now, when he was in England, living in the Asian community of London, which is his point of focus is still London. Whether he's there or not right this second is beyond, I don't know. He could be traveling the world giving interviews on TV somewhere. I don't know. But when he was in the Asian community of London, there were people who suspected him of being the Imam Mahdi. And there was one guy who Benjamin Creme met who actually was invited to hear Maitreya speak at one of the temples in London. Because Maitreya was actually giving talks from time to time, and that by invitation only, that people could go and hear him talk. He would perform, little miracles or disappear before them and reappear so they could see that he has control over time and space and that kind of stuff. But this one guy, it's kind of a funny story, but Benjamin Creme, who was the spearhead of this information, was telling this story. But this guy came up to him after the lecture and said, I saw Maitreya give a talk, in London. And when you hear Maitreya, it's like you don't even have to hear what he's saying to get it. It's like penetrates your heart as he's talking. He speaks so heart to heart, it like punches you right in the heart. He goes, now you, Mr. Creme, talk way too much. And Benjamin Creme always laughed when he told that story. But anyway, there are people who have seen him in London, how he looks. Now, like I said, when we see him on TV and we start to recognize him, that's how he's going to look for the next 3,000 years. Next question from S. Richard West. How does one call on Maitreya? Oh, the best way, the most efficient way, I don't think you can really, pick up a phone and call him or anything like that, but if you go to the Share International website, there's a photo of the hand of Maitreya. That was a miracle that happened over a decade ago. And it was placed on, Maitreya put a handprint on a mirror in Barcelona, Spain. And it looks like a 3D image of a handprint. And so according to Benjamin Creme's master, that is the closest any one of us can get to Maitreya until he's out recognized for who he is after the day of declaration. So if you look at that picture, that helps to kind of strengthen the mind-to-mind contact between you and Maitreya, and you can aid him for help or ask for aid or something like this. And Maitreya says his help is there, you just need to ask for it. But when you look at the hand, you need to be very specific on what you want for him to help you with. Now, if you said, hey, Maitreya, I want you to appear right before me, he's probably not going to do it that way. But, I've used the hand before and recognized the help that he's given. Sometimes he says his help is always there and he's always giving it. It's whether we recognize it or not, too. So, anyway. All right, this is not really a question, but I like this. Your info is crazy. Your info is crazy if true. You seem very confident in your message. I am still skeptical as with any info I get from YouTube, but I am open-minded to it. I have to say that is exactly what I was hoping for, is somebody with an open mind that actually just you don't have to believe in it 100%. Eventually we'll all see it true for ourselves, but it is true. I'm being honest with you about all these things that have happened to me. And if you listen to my playlist of my Maitreya experiences, I've had many experiences with Maitreya that lead me to believe it's true. But, it's important to be skeptical and kind of come on this information in your own way, in your own time. That's the best way to do it. But to keep an open mind about it, that's absolutely, I couldn't agree more. The first time I read Benjamin Creme's book, I hated it, actually. And, it took a month or so before I started rereading it again that I actually it changed my life. So, I understand how it is. And I understand how you just, getting information from YouTube. There's just a lot of garbage out there. So anyway, but I also don't claim to be the sole proprietor of this information or this truth. It's just, I'm just sharing my side of the information. It's up to you to come up with it. So it's really just for your consideration only. It's not, I'm not trying to convince anybody that this is true. Do you have any videos of Maitreya? No, I do not. I have seen Maitreya. There was a video of him that I saw years ago when he was at Hyde Park during a peace rally. And at the end of my videos, there's actually a picture of the back of his head. He appeared as an Afro-Caribbean man. And he was very excited about the people marching, showing up the lies of the Blair administration and the Bush administration at the time. And he said, keep your eyes on the prize, and the prize is humanity. But just like that guy that saw him in London that was talking to Benjamin Creme, the way he speaks is so simple. It's truth, really, but it just punches you in the heart. I mean, it's a heart-to-heart kind of thing. All right. Now, I want to end this video by reading the thoughts from the thoughts of one of the masters, Benjamin Creme's master. And there's a book, and I have the link for it. You can buy it on Amazon if it interests you. But it's every month in Share International magazine, Benjamin Creme's master would write an article through him. And a lot of times it was about the current events of the time. It could be about Maitreya, about his priorities and this thing. But hands down, when somebody asks, who is Maitreya to me, right? I try to answer it in the way that he did in this, and I never can get it right. So I'm going to read this article. It's entitled "The Son of Man," because hands down it is perfect in the way that he's describing who and what Maitreya is and what he's about. So anyway, until next time, thank you so much for listening, and let me read this to you, and then you have a great day, okay? The Son of Man. Many people await the return of the Christ with trepidation and fear. They sense that his appearance will promote great changes in all departments of life. His values, they rightly assume, will necessarily alter their ways of thinking and living, and they blanch at such a prospect. Besides, so mystical has been the view of the Christ presented down the centuries by the churches that many fear his judgment and omnipotent power. They await him as God, come to punish the wicked and reward the faithful. It is sadly to be regretted that such a distorted vision of the Christ should so have permeated human consciousness. No such being exists. In order to understand the true nature of the Christ, it is necessary to see him as one among equal sons of God, each endowed with full divine potential, differing only in the degree of manifestation of that divinity. That he has achieved the fullness of that divinity is his glory, and well may we stand in reverence at this achievement. That this same achievement is rare indeed is also indisputably true. But the wonder of the Christ for men is that he was one of them. Not there is in the trials and sufferings of men, but he did know it. Each step of the path that men still tread has he painfully trodden. Nothing is there in the whole panorama of human experience that he has not shared. Thus, truly, is he the Son of Man. There can be little doubt that were he to appear unannounced in our midst, few would recognize him. So far from the general notion is he that he would pass unnoticed in the crowd. Thus it is today among his brothers as he awaits man's invitation to begin his mission. Many who see him daily know him not. Others recognize him but are afraid to speak. Still others wait and pray, hopeful that he may be the one for whom they dare not hope. Only his declaration before the world will establish him in the sights and the hearts of men. While we await that day of days, let us clarify in our minds the reasons for his return. Let us understand the nature of the task which he has set himself. To establish in our midst the fact of God has he come. To recreate the divine mysteries is he here. To teach men how to love and love again is he among us. To establish man's brotherhood does he walk the earth once more. To keep faith with the Father and with man does he accept this burden. To usher in the new age, has he returned. To consolidate the treasures of the past, to inspire the marvels of the future, to glorify God and man has he descended from his high mountain. Let us look at his priorities: the establishment of peace, the inauguration of the system of sharing, the removal of guilt and fear, the cleansing of the hearts and minds of men, the education of mankind in the laws of life and love, an introduction to the mysteries, the beautification of our cities, the removal of barriers to travel and interchange of peoples, the creation of a pool of knowledge accessible to all. That such a task is not an easy one, not even for the Son of Man, is clear. Ancient habits of division and separation have strong roots, while fear and superstition cast their spell over millions of mankind. But never before in the history of the world has a teacher come better equipped for his task. Maitreya has come to do battle with ignorance and fear, division and want. His weapons are spiritual understanding, knowledge, and love. His shining armor is truth itself. Remember to take action and help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos.